And Alex Murdaugh has been very emotional throughout the testimony. He led a big testimony yesterday, and we saw him very teary-eyed and upset, to then very stoic and kind of staring at times. And that was the case when he watched his sister-in-law on Tuesday. Take a look at some of that.
Alex, was he grieving greatly?
Oh, terribly.
I mean, people have described him as being destroyed. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yes.
The defendant seemed to be paying very close attention as his sister-in-law, Marion Proctor, took the stand as a state witness. He was crying at some points of her testimony as well. And this morning, we want to know, what clues can we read from his body language? To help us do that, we're bringing in an expert guest. She is a jury consultant and human behavior expert, one of our favorite guests here on Court TV Live. Susan Constantine is joining us from Orlando, Florida. Good morning, Susan. Great to see you. Thanks so much for making time for us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Julie.
Yeah, of course. So when I know you were watching this testimony really carefully as it was unfolding on Tuesday, what were you thinking as you were watching both Alex and what was coming out of his sister's mouth for the jury?
Okay, so it's really important, Julie, to listen to context, then reaction. So I teach courses on how to spot liars in 7 seconds or less, and there's a reason why that happens. Because when information is being delivered, within 5 to 7 seconds, we are going to see a plethora of different types of indicators that will give you insight into what that person is processing. So there are moments where he is very stared-like, right? So he's listening to exactly what she's saying. So he's very focused. So that would be the focus part of it. Other parts of it, when he's hearing some more emotional information, because I do think that he regrets what he did. I really believe that because I can see it in his emotions. And then you see this flood. And flooding happens when you see this flushing of the skin tone, the heart rate starts to increase, and then he starts to show these emotional indicators of distress and emotional flooding. So I do think there's times where he does connect with that emotion. I think he does feel some regret, and that's where you see the emotion and the tears flow.
Susan, I might have an example we can play of exactly what you're talking about. And you tell us if we're right on this. We have a clip where Alex Murdaugh's crying during the cross-examination of the state's medical expert witness, of course, going through the very gruesome autopsy details. Let's watch that together now. Some audio to accompany this, but this is just video. But this is perfect, because Susan, you can help us analyze this. You know, this was really, really tough stuff to hear. I remember at one point I gave a warning to our viewers because we were about to hear about Paul's brain being literally ejected from his skull. And having to be analyzed at the ME's office, you know, coming from a separate container than his body was transported in. And is this kind of, it seems to me when Paul's name is brought up, Susan, I see that emotion. Is that kind of what you're talking about, where it seems clearly that he's getting worked up?
Yes, exactly, Julie. And again, tying it together, because it's so important to cluster things together. And you see him really uncomfortable and squirming in his chair. And then that's where this cognitive load starts to build. I call it like a teapot. When the emotion starts to rise, it's like the steam starts to get really, or the water gets hot, and then poof goes the air. And these are where you're seeing all these physiological responses, the flushing. He's obviously recalling what he saw, which is causing this huge amount of emotional flooding. And because he's visualizing, he recalls what he actually saw and then hearing it. It's because one thing about recalling what he saw, but then also hearing somebody else describe it is even a deeper level of kind of what I say is that they kind of hone in on what actually happened and they start to feel that emotion. I saw this in the Casey Anthony trial when I was in that case, and where they talked about the human decomposition and when the trunk was lifted up and then there was this odor, just strong odor. At that time, Casey Anthony showed an emotional expression, micro-expression of disgust, which told me that she actually recalled that same odor and at that moment, and that's why she had disgust. So that's what I'm seeing here too. When you see something, you're recalling the past is being brought forward and it's creating this visceral effect, and that's why you're seeing all these flood of emotions.
Oh, Susan, this is fascinating. I could listen to you all day. I want you to analyze some more things for us, if you would, please. Alex Murdaugh's appearance during that police body camera interview, we're able to look at now and analyze. It's in evidence in this case. This is when the first responders just got to the Moselle property and he's talking to them. Let's watch.
They're dead now. They are dead, aren't they?
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
Randy. Randy's all dead.
Okay, so he's talking to his brother Randy, sounds like there. I know that was a quick clip, but tell us, please, what, if anything, jumped out at you, Susan?
Okay, there's a couple things that are happening. And again, remember, things are happening in clusters. So he deflects, right? So he walks away and he starts to do the roaming. So it's a way to escape from where the police officer was, and so that he can have this one-on-one conversation with his brother. You notice that his vocal cords constantly crack, and this is created by anxiety and stress, and also in deception. So there's multiple reasons why that happens. And then there's times where, and here I want you to really hone in on, Julie, and this is what I've watched him do, is how he fleets in and out of these emotions very abruptly. So emotions kind of ease their way out. When they're stressed, it doesn't just end and then they're very focused and can speak clearly. He kind of jumps kind of back and forth with that. The other thing is his body language is very open. Most people that are experiencing a tremendous amount of stress, you would notice that their hands are to their face. Like, I can't believe what happened. Oh my God, this is amazing. I don't even know where to even start. And hands go up. Upward moments are visualization, like they're in this ecstatic kind of placement. It's a high emotion, not down here. This is feeling, right? Feeling is kinesthetic when you're emotionally distracted, but when you're describing, like, this has just been horrible, I can't even get a hold of it, then yes, your hands would go up, but then your hands would go down, and that's when you're feeling a lot of emotion, sadness, and depression, and etc.
Oh, Susan, this is incredibly helpful to folks like me who are so interested in what exactly is he trying to say with his movements. We know what his words are saying, and I love how you mentioned the vocal cracking that we hear, you know, this pitchiness that comes, you know, from time to time with some of the crying. We thought it would be interesting to compare the two 911 calls where we hear his voice and have you analyze his speech and what he may be saying within the context of the call the night of June 7th when he says he found his wife and his son shot to death, and then the call on September 4th, 2021, where he says that someone tried to shoot him as he's changing a tire and he's shot in the head. Let's listen together to those two clips now.
It's 4147 Moselle Road. I've been up to it now. It's bad.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, and are they breathing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
Are they in a vehicle?
No, ma'am. They're on the ground out at my kennel.
Okay, what's going on?
I got a flat tire,
Mm-hmm.
and I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me. And when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me.
Oh, okay. Were you shot?
Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
You shot where? Where were you shot at?
Huh?
Did they actually shoot you or they tried to shoot you?
They shot me, but...
Okay, where you need EMS?
well...
Oh my goodness, Susan Constantine, What is he saying to you, please?
Okay, so let's start for the last one when he's talking about that he got pulled over. They, meaning more than one person, had shot him. So in that, he's very calm, right? So he says he's bleeding. So he already knows he's not really bleeding hard. He's not bleeding to the point where he's going to die. So there is no sense of urgency in there whatsoever. So when you listen to his language, you can hear it kind of flow. Remember now, you don't hear here the strain of the vocal cords. So I think there was time of where this occurrence happened to where he gathered himself, then made that call. So there was a delay so he could actually recover. Now, in the other one where he's talking like this and his voice is getting really cracky. Now, listen to, first of all, he uses the word ma'am. Usually when there's cases like this in statement analysis, you don't use these polite terminologies. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's a sign of deception. The other thing is you don't really hear him breathing like hysterical. Now he's his kids and his wife and son has been shot, and there's no hysteria. You would expect hysteria in his voice, and you just don't hear it.
Oh, this is so fascinating. Susan Constantine, the next time you hold a seminar or presentation, I'm coming because I could listen to you all day. I know our viewers could too. Please come back when you have the time. Would love to get some more analysis from you, especially with us shifting gears in this trial. We're going to be seeing the defense case pretty soon, and potentially Alex Murdaugh could be taking the stand. Susan Constantine, jury consultant and body language expert. We'll see you back here very soon. Thank you so much.